turning 30 years old soon, so I thought I'd do a reflection on my life, turning 30, a reflection on my life. And I have like a note card and a half, and I wrote really small, so I'm just going to go through it. So this might not be, it's a reflection, but it's kind of like a reflection on my life, but because in reflecting in advance, my birthday is not for a little bit yet, but I'm almost 30 years old, so it shouldn't be rushed in last minute. So I'm doing this in advance, and I thought through all this in advance before filming this. So let's begin. My USA passport says I was born in 1992, the 26th of August 1992 in Washington State, United States of America. I was not born here. And they have the birth date wrong. I am a Pisces born in the year of the rooster, so I was born in 1993. So it's just why the USA chooses this, I don't know. So I am not born in the year of the monkey, which is 1992, and I'm not a Virgo, which is like August to September. That's not my sign. It's not my sign. So I'm a Pisces, if you're into that kind of stuff. Astrology. What is the best, perhaps, maybe, the best surprise I have gotten in life so far? It came from my parents. I was actually born in Norway. So, those are some kind of fun things. So that's one thing. Another thing, height still comes up as like a topic of conversation, I think partially because people start getting shorter. Like they grow, stall, and then get shorter. So up, kind of thing. At least most people do. So I have actually stopped growing. I am 5 feet 7.5 inches tall and have stopped growing taller. I am average height for females of the Norse race and am happy with my height. So some people say I'm tall, some people say I'm short. The reality is the biggest ethnic part of me is the Norse race, which is northern Norway, so like Fjordlands and further north. And women there, on average, are 5'7", 5'7.5" inches tall. So, yeah, I'm average for me and my ancestry, and the people of my that shared ancestry with me. All right. Made it to 30 years old. I am alive after fighting off cancer twice when I was approximately 21, 22 years old. And then again when I was 26, 27 years old. When I was growing up, I was told I had a 100% chance of getting cancer. And I thought I would be dead by 20 years old. Guess what? I'm not. I genuinely believed I would never hit 25, and 30 was an unfathomable. So when a bunch of people are like, oh my god, I'm 30, I don't have that privilege. I've had to fight for my life multiple times and fight cancer off, and I've done it successfully multiple times. So I never had the privilege of being like, I want this job long term, because I never had that life security. I had cancer when I was 22 years old, which I'm also fortunate in that I didn't get it when I was a kid, that kind of thing. However, there's some people I just are so ungrateful for their life, and I'm grateful for mine. Up next, so this is kind of I'm 30 years old, so I have some mature reflections, some of it's still developing, is maybe a way of phrasing it. I'm tired of speaking English. It is not my first/native language, and it would be nice to live in a place that is not English speaking. It is a dream of mine and my soulmates. Have been living apart from them for over 8 years now, and my heart aches to return home with them. Why don't we live together? So me and my soulmates. Most simply because I am sexually/physically assaulted by another human being whenever I get close to any of my men. By people saying I'm not good enough for my soulmates. So these kind of people will say I'm not good enough for them, and then physically and or sexually assault me. Oh, life is weird like that. They'll also say that I do not deserve them. I do not deserve to be happy. I do not deserve to be with them. And they have decided it is my time to pay. Then they rape me and or assault me and move on. So, like, what do I mean by rape? So when I lived in South Africa, a white German with a different skin type than me raped me multiple times, orally, anally, and in my vagina. Over 10 times on 2 separate occasions. And what was the worst? I've gotten that question before. The anal rape was the worst because my body is not built for that. That's not what natural women were meant to do. I am a natural woman. I don't do that. Not consensually. A man raped me and it tore my insides. And so to this day, over a decade later, I continue to poop blood on occasion. He rubbed the skin off of my butt by my butthole. So now if I'm working out or exercising, I will start bleeding by my butthole because of the scar that it gave me. So I have literal physical scars inside and on the outside of me. And yeah, and then at approximately 7 to 8 years after he raped me, I pooped out a condom that he had stuffed inside me. So there's stuff like that. It was horrible. So that was my first time ever having sex, consensual or not, was getting raped 10 times, over 10 times. How did I lose my virginity in a consensual manner? So that was Chad Leclos in South Africa, after I was raped. I healed with him, and he is a soulmate of mine. He proposed to me to ask me to marry him at the time. I said no. This morning, the 2nd of August 2022, he proposed to me again, and I said, he's actually made progress. I said maybe. I said, I'm really tired of living away from my parents. I want to live with my husband. If I'm married, if I'm engaged, I want to be living with that person. So I told him, if we move in together, we live together, and we spend the rest of our lives together, I'll marry him. And like, it's a serious topic. If we did that, well, it'd be cool if we could, like, actually documented it. I don't know. I do want to be with him. I would rather spend my life with my husband and take my would-be husband, Chad Leclos, Chad Leonhardi, with me on my heritage travel trips. I would rather spend my life with my husband's eternal marriage, eternal life with my husband's, with my soulmates kind of thing, than have a solo life. I would rather be with my husband. Always. I'm not the solo adventure type in that sense. I would rather settle down and do adventures with my Chad. Even the squirrels call Chad Dad Chad, and so I kind of gave him that. I was like, I want to live with you, and not temporarily, permanently. I don't want to come back. My biggest fear is moving in with him, and or them, maybe more than one of my soulmates, and for whatever reason I have to come back here. I'm living in my parents' house. I don't want that. I want to live with them permanently. So that was kind of that. If I move in with him, which if I did, and I still have this YouTube channel and the means to post videos and film videos and stuff, it'd be really cool to document that. So living together, and that maybe would become a yes. Permanently, and he has to ask again, which sounds so stupid because he's asked several times each time he's asked. But like, I want to be living together and awake and have the question asked and say yes, kind of thing. It's me being picky as a woman. All right, up next. And it might be too much to ask. It might not happen, right? I might die alone and single, which is what every single sign I've gotten in my life is pointing to right now. So, except for Chad Leclos. So if I ever do move out of my parents' house, no matter who, if I ever move out of my parents' house and in with a soulmate, be it Chad the Clo or someone else, there was only one reason, and that is Chad the Clo. Okay, now you know. All right, on to the next thing. I have work experience and college degrees in mathematics, geology, and geophysics. And you know what? I miss it a lot. Up next, to my husbands, to my soulmates, to my yellow and green, I love you, I miss you, I hope we will be together more than one day in the future and before we die. None of this together for one day. No, I want you for more than one day. I actually love you guys. If you're not my soulmate, why are you watching this? I'm joking, kind of, but yeah. But before we die, I would be happy with that. I'm not that privileged person that gets to move in with their significant other when they get married or soon after getting married or when they get engaged or before they get engaged. And they've been together for a long time. I've been married to some of my husbands for over a decade or over 2 decades, and I still have not had that privilege of living with them. All right, up next. On my income this year versus the last 2 years, yeah, so I've made less than $20 in each year in 2020 and 2021, and this year I have made $105 so far, dog sitting and watering plants. So in terms of income, I'm up to triple digits, which is a big step forward. Okay, up next, on being on Medicaid as a 20-something-year-old. So I used to get Medicaid and Medicare confused. Living it, they're very different. So you have to be 65 years of age or older to be on Medicare. So it's not even an option for me. There's only one, Medicaid. So I'm on Medicaid. So yeah, it's not even an option for me. Then up next, I have found contentment in not rushing things and letting things unfold naturally, which I'm not going to really expand on this much, but this is like, if I was watching this video, like a version 2 years younger than right now me was watching this video, I'd be like, I do not comprehend that. So like, this is a relatively recent development, and I have found much more contentment in life in just being like, you know what? I'd rather have truth than have things rushed and get what people think I want to hear. Because that's not consistent with reality. I'd rather take the truth and let things just unfold naturally. And I at least feel like my life is better because of it. I'm not as stressed. I'm not suicidal like I used to be. That kind of stuff. So, and on that threshold level, it's better. Up next, my eyesight has improved over the past 2 years, which is really counterintuitive because I've been doing a bunch of writing and publishing online. So I've been looking at my computer, looking at really small font, and my eyes used to get really, they'd start hurting and things would blur if I stared long enough. I don't have that problem anymore. It's no longer a problem. So I'm watch me do a bunch of pool swimming, staring at a black line at the bottom of the pool, and with goggles. So I don't wear prescription goggles when I swim. I just wear regular goggles. So I'm watch me do that. I don't do that currently, but watch me do that someday, and I won't even, my eyesight just corrects itself because it's already correcting itself. So I'm if I live long enough, I might actually be able to, my eyesight might improve enough on its own that I don't need glasses. That'd be cool. All right, and then up last, I have lived in different places, 2 continents and a rock in the middle of the ocean. So I've lived in North America, Africa, and Hawaii, which is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and culturally extremely different than North America. Unless you're a tourist or get a VRBO or Airbnb, you don't really get the real culture so much, in my experience, as compared to actually living there and being friends with Native Hawaiians and stuff like that. So it's culturally very different. So culturally, I would count Hawaii more as Oceania than North America. So in that sense, 3 continents, but 2 continents and a rock in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, because that's more of, it's not like I'm going to be driving 2 hours someplace to get away from something. That wasn't even possible or a reality. Island, one end of the island to the other was an hour, unless there was traffic. All right, 45 minutes. Okay, and then I found each place has its own distinct pace. So that's the thing of like, yeah. Like if I weren't to live here, my pace of life and what I do on day to day might change. And I've lived that. I've lived in different places on different continents. And yeah, that's just, it's interesting how that has not worn off. And I still respect that to this day. So yeah. But that's a reflection on my life. And those are the kind of reflection topics I came up with for I'm turning 30 years old.